I think this is a case of for Avant, they can actually start firing up a little bit here. Like new blood in the roster, that's the easiest way to get motivation rolling forward. It's no longer, oh, we can excuse other things. No, this is the part where you hit the ground running. So going on to train, Jordan's going to be taking a bit of a short break. He's been doing a lot of talking. Mitch is back, which is either a good or bad thing, depending if you want to fall asleep or if you want to watch Counter-Strike. I won't mention which one's which.
It's 8 PM. I think it's probably time for bed for most people. So, yeah, I would recommend that you maybe just lower the sound and let the sweet, soothing sound of my voice put you to sleep. As we do have the pick for info from Hugh. He's actually going to be the inner player while the rest of Avant are over towards outer, but Order is getting ready to start creeping towards inner. The initial contact, a nice gush onto Humongous, but Order, they don't rush things too much, continuing to walk towards lower ramp and getting ready to throw out that set of utility that Jara has on his belt.
Look at that. Look at Avant not even rotating a single member here. So if Hugh's even able to just get one, they have to play the retake from here pretty much. Charging down the alley, and the fact that he's able to get just at least a single one is actually pretty good considering that he was gushed out earlier.
Absolutely. You got Valiant's close up in towards this hum train smoke, trying to find some targets, trying to pick off some of these CTs before they get too close on the rotations.
Smoke's faded though, and all 4 CTs coming in from the same angle. Valiant is going to be spotted out. No one really supporting him at this stage, and he's going to be traded out pretty quickly. All of Order playing one and done angles at this moment. Estelo's trying to dance around, but Alistair's going to step up big time from that pop dog train. Oh. Big time indeed, as he's able to pick off another one. Still has so many shots. Alistair, he started off nice and well. There's going to be one man that's happy with that.
Yeah, killed every CT in on the rotation there. Very nicely done for that man, holding in for the post plant. And a T-side pistol, so important for Order to be starting this one off nicely and getting their economy off to the right run of things as Avant. They do force straight back into it. A handful of HE nades, a couple of scouts, some deagles. It's a recipe for success. The deagles and the scouts tagging up opponents does end up in a kill more often than not. And some of these HE nades trying to chip down some of these opponents could be quite nice, as well as Order start to move towards that outer bomb site. Already the nades starting to do a little bit of damage as APOC goes down.
Yeah, just caught in the middle of no man's land. Unfortunately, Molotov has pushed him out there, trying to commit through the smoke grenades as well, but some of them are so low where Hazza can just clean up right now. If he just stays alive, allow the rotations to come forward. Alistair's quite healthy, and that's a shot coming out from Hazza. Still alive, still swinging, but finally traded out. And now 3-on-2. Scouts at long distance, but no sidearms to really work with in terms of the high impact. Yes, you've got the USPs. Can take down Gyro and Alistair quite easily in 1 or 2 bullets.
All of these Ts pretty low. If they overpeak, if they overextend, they could be clicked on by the CTs. This Blitz starting to make his way up Ivy, but doesn't get the timing right onto Ustillo, which leaves an armorless Sterling. It's wide swung by Alistair and does take him out, but Gyro trades it back. So nicely done from Order. Crisis aversion, very nice. They do lose 3 guns, but up against a 4th from Avant, I don't think they're going to be too upset with that, considering a lot of them were Mac 10s. And if they navigate their way through this anti-eco nicely, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, just investing though in the rifles mainly for a lot of their members. Alistair, what is he going to pick up? That's the real question right now. He's actually just going with the P250. He's going to be looking to pick up the AWP the next one. Whereas Avant, not really upgrading here. Just a single flashbang on Humongous. Once again, just a little bit of light pressure being applied on the A site by Valiants. As the rest of the members taking out SL. Castillo dinked down, not really clearing out multiple angles, so a couple of rifles in a position to be potentially retrieved out. What? It's just the P2Ks that are doing damage at the moment, and the basic pistols.
Yeah, Hazza's, you know, clicking away at heads with that P2000. Not too easy of a task to be doing usually, but Humongous has actually got into a decent position on the middle of the bomb train. But Order, that's nicely done from them, cleaning out those CTs before they get into 2 advanced positions in towards inner. Smoke deep onto the hump train. They've got Gyra holding onto this SL angle. Should be a pretty easy cleanup from here for Order as they recover from that one. That got a little scary for a moment.
It did, but they read the situation correctly, rotated into the correct bomb site. And Ricky able to just get the couple of picks alongside with, I think it was Alistair at the time, managed to make sure the round's a little bit more equal from here. Blitz still looking to maybe just get an exit here or there. Has dinked out Alistair. Ricky should be able to clean this one up quite easily, but the bomb explosion might take down Alistair. He needs to get out of there relatively pronto.
Got APOC still left alive over here towards Sandwich. So you could pick off one of these Ts running out of CT connector, but doesn't quite hit the timing correctly. Not a big deal though. Has a 6.5 for the man. Could probably drop an AWP to one of his teammates if they want to go for the double AWP. That's very sharp stuff with the P2000 nonetheless. Good damage dealt with just with that default pistol. Spam it away. Either way though, 3-0 for Order. Actually, not going for that double AWP. Only Sterling getting the AWP here. The rest of them just relying on the rifles. Order some decent money, but they definitely did take some economic losses, so not as strong of an economy that they might be looking for. Alistair over towards this Ivy side, looking to try to find a pick on the extremities here as Hugh being left towards inner to swallow that part of the map. Still has access to his smoke and his Molotov. Valiant's just going to cop a nade there. I think that was through the window. So nicely thrown by Avant. Good use of those HEs on the CT side.
But early rotation actually coming out from Avant. Sterling actually taking that upper ramp to allow Humongous just to hold on at the stage to his utility.
Very slow round. Not a lot happening for Order. Looks like they're probably going to be smoking off. It's a Molotov into SL. I wonder if they're going to be smoking SL or E-Box. Looks like they've adjusted what smokes they're throwing, at least for the time being. Re-smoke on T-connector as Jara throws out that sandwich smoke. This pushes APOC forward into this smoke, which could cause some problems for Order as they execute this out of sight.
Yep, and out comes a Molotov, but APOC's done a ton of damage already. He's got to spot this out, but Blitz caught in no man's territory. Hazza needs to be dancing around right now and has that smoke cover at least to transition away. That's going to catch Ricky's attention.
The bomb's still outside of T-connector,
No one's gone back to get it, and someone has to eventually go. They're still waiting for people, but 25 seconds left. No one's going back. Oh, no. Order.
All right, Ystilo's getting it. They still got 20. They've got Ricky on the bomb site. But if he gets cleaned out, I don't think that they're going to be able to cover that ground on towards the site.
I was going to say, is there even enough time? Ystilo's going around the long way. Hazza can shut this down just by himself right now. Ystilo has to go for the aim deal, has to draw out the bomb, but there's no time. He's just gone out too late. Sterling, oh, that is so risky. Oh. It's actually just barely that Avant wins as Ystilo goes for the aim deal, but that was so risky by Sterling. Avant still managed to get the round. But that was so close.
Oh, they left the bomb behind. That's an unfortunate mistake. End of the day, though, it does come down very close, and that's going to bankrupt Avant. Look at this buy. This is your dream, Kevin, an MP7 and X7 2 Scouts.
I wouldn't even have enough money to buy this. When I was the inner holder, I could only afford the Mag 7. I dropped out the M4 to my teammates. But there's only a single M4. That's on Hazza. 2 Scouts. And an alligator.
Yep. Either way, though.
Is an MP7 even a weapon at this stage?
Yeah, look, it's not the best. It's definitely not ideal here, Kev. And they are rotating pretty quickly towards the inner here, Avant. 3 players over in that part of the map. And when you're playing with a weaponry disadvantage, you are going to be prone to take some more risks, take a few more gambles, especially when you're starting to run out of utility very early on in the round here.
I don't know the exact saying that would be for this round, for the economic woes of Avant. It is what it is.
Oh, man. Sometimes you just got to accept the circumstances that you dealt.
And look, XM at that position at this moment. That crossfire is actually not a bad position to put the MP7 in XM, but they are going to be testing out Hazza. Probably the best person with the rifle, but Ystilo just double dinks him with the Galil.
Unfortunate.
And that's a save. You can't really go in as Avant. And yes, I understand that you don't want to be saving these weapons, but there is no way you can retake with an XM and MP7.
It's interesting that Avant actually went for that force with the XM and the MP7, because with their other roster, when Ofnu was playing with them, they were very, very passive with their economy. They often saved to make sure that they had full utility, that Sterling had access to the AWP, and they were often very, very, reserved with their economic decision-making. Forcing up in a round like this, it really hasn't done them any favors here. And Order, I'm liking how they're playing. Look, it's very slow and methodical, maybe to a fault in that last round, but for the most part, it's definitely doing them a lot of favors here. And when they choose to go, they actually go, They're waiting around T-Connector, they're waiting above SL, they're holding those extremities towards Inners and towards Ivy, but when they commit, it's the flashes, and all of them are committing up that train yard.
And here's the thing, I have to ask Avant when they actually have the money for this, when are they going to contest this? When are they going to get aggressive? And maybe the lack of having Ofnu at the moment, who's going to be stepping up and taking that role, right? You can't expect APOC to be everywhere. Hugh, we know he's passive. Haz is pretty passive as well. Blitz is also a really passive player when you think about it. Maybe it's too much passiveness and someone needs to take the alpha charge and just get in the face of order.
It has to be Hazard. That's the thing. That's the thing about this new Avant roster. When you get rid of Ofnu, it sort of puts Hazard, I feel like, into that third sort of firepower player where he's sort of the wild card as the aggressive player.
Oh, no,
we'll see if that does eventuate. There's the XM coming into play, Kev. Your favourite. It's a nice 1B onto Ricky on that upper ramp angle.
He's trying to get the 8. No, just no. No, why?
MC is tilted as well.
Humongous thinks it's like, oh, my arm's actually longer than 3 meters. You can't do that. Just look at it and go, it's too far away. So that was a very favourable situation, which has been equalised by order because Humongous thought his arms were a little bit longer. Let's be realistic. You don't have noodle arms. And now you're looking like a bit of a noodle doing that.
Yeah, Usilo's in a pretty decent position as well. Aggressive up towards Ivy. He could potentially catch a rotation. One of these CTs slipping a little bit. Flashbang into T-Connector. Doesn't gather any information, but Apox for sure going to go down. Oh. He doesn't get traded. He's an instant 1B onto Valiance, and he gets himself a 2K, and now Usilo's scrambling to put the pieces back together.
And Apox retrieved the Yorp as well, and I don't think he'll be missing with this one. Putting himself in a nice position. Usilo's desperately trying to get closer, and Apox... I mean, they knew he was coming in with an MP7.
Where's the aggression coming from, Kev? Where's it coming from?
I said it was from APOC. Calm down, mate. I said outside of APOC, who is going to be aggressive with him?
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, that's where you
got words out of my mouth.
Angry Arthur Fist.
Ready to swing at you, Mitch. Just like how both sides are just swinging at each other at the moment. I love it.
That was pretty nice with the MP7. That's the exact kind of duel that you want to be taking with that weapon. Either way, though, Order just enough money to be able to put together a pretty good buy here. So we'll see how it does go. This is a pretty critical round for both sides. If Order picks this round up, they're already hit that 5-round count. They're potentially heading into an anti-eco in that next round coming up. So they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable. Avant looking to equalize, but it's already going south as Valiance creeps out and snaps Sapok's head off.
Oh, that's a great pickup from Valiance as well. Even though he gets traded, Hazard in no man's land. Great trading and patience coming out from Order at the stage, and they really are just playing around, picking off APOC in the sandwich position. Instantly, just 40 seconds or 30 seconds in the round, Avant have to save in Order. Don't really think they have the luxury to hunt, to be honest. Their money's not that great, so they might just have to chill out and just kill time here.
Yeah, they definitely don't want to be throwing away additional weapons. I think with these 2 guns being saved over for Avant, they could put a buy together is the thing. Sterling's got pretty good money. APOC could probably put some weapons together. So you drop one over, maybe someone has to go down to an MP9. You could make something work. Order starting to close in here, close towards CT spawn, just behind the smoke.
Just once again, I don't know if it's worth it or not. Gyro... What?
He's trying to be a bit cheeky. Ends up losing his life. And he's not really going to have the greatest of cash to reinvest. So one of his teammates will have to drop him. But that has not gone too badly, actually. Right towards the tail end of the round, they pick up that AWP player, which is a pretty massive difference. Because if you look at the money, Sterling's got 6.2. He had AWP and armor. He drops 2 M4s. This is a full buy round for Avant. Him going down, now they have to consider taking the save, actually.
We'll see at the moment. They've called a tactical timeout. The second for tonight so far in terms of all tactical timeouts being called. It's a tricky situation, as you're saying. Humongous and Hazard, they just don't have the cash to compete in this round.
Well, that would have been the difference. 2 M4s in those guys' hands. They've got pretty decent utility. I like taking a save here. I think upgrading some pistols around this AK, you could get some damage done. You could definitely inflict some damage to Order's economy and then try to take them on in the next round. But at this point, it's looking like these rounds from Order are a little too easy. The way they're coming out of T-Connector pretty consistently and getting some picks on this outer train.
They're just literally walking out together and just pre-aiming sandwich and they just headshot APOC. There's nowhere he can go. He's been thrown, like Utility's been thrown his way. It just feels like they're reading exactly what APOC's doing on these buy rounds, which is so problematic. And now Gyra just...
creeping out to sandwich is what he does. And he's punished Blitz as well. Very nicely done. He's the only one on that side of the map, and now it's just Hugh here with the P250. Can't imagine he's going to be able to do much, and that's not the greatest timing for him whatsoever. Order just wiping the floor with Avant here, only losing Gyro once again to that P2000.
But he's done his job already. He sold that fake, made that B site take a lot easier as well for the rest of the players. And Hazard, he's going to be relatively happy just with a bit of a smile on his face, taking the 8K into the next round. But Order now up 6-2.
Speaking of getting the job done, 6 rounds on the T side already. Got to be feeling pretty happy about that.
This is a really good round now for AVANT. I mean, I can understand they didn't invest much. They still lost it. But they're keeping the economy of Order really honest right now.
Yeah, that's right. 3 guns taken away, that's fantastic. But at the same time, already losing 6-2. If it gets much further out of hand than this, you're going to be having some problems for AVANT. I think AVANT, what they're looking for here is probably just to try to get back up to 6 rounds.
Do you not remember the 13-2 halves between these sides?
Yeah,
and the
I know.
Like, normally I just go, oh yeah, this is a CT-sided map, but between these two I go, no, it's a T-sided map. If they don't get to 12 rounds each, they might lose the game.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the problem is, statistically, when I say that, that's actually accurate.
Yeah. I think that's like a... What's it called?
Anomaly?
No, yeah, it's an anomaly, but it's like that kind of bias when something happens and you want to say it's going to happen again, but I'm just going to lean back towards...
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, confirmation bias, that's it, yeah. I'm just going to lean back towards this is probably a good situation, but not great starting off for Order.
Double ops coming out now, and that's actually being put to great use. Blitz and Sterling utilising those long angles as Order are trying to pick up the pace, but you can see just shut down immediately. And bombs out in the open. It's going to be pretty difficult for the rest of the Order players to really make their way in, especially with the gun barrel being spotted as well. But Blitz finally missing a shot. Heatbox there, ready to get the trade though. And Gyro, if he can do some damage, would be great.
Nice.
But the double AWP pickup turns the fortune for AVANT. They pick up that round, and look at the money on Order.
Yeah, 5 alive for AVANT. Their economy is feeling pretty good now. And Order, all of that damage done by Hazard definitely has a pretty good domino effect here. Order struggling for cash on a couple of their players, going to have to consider taking a save. And AVANT, you know, they've got that loss bonus behind them, even if they did lose the round. It's going to be the force from Order, actually. So here's an opportunity. AVANT's already got cash in the bank. They win this round, and if they do it convincingly, they are balling out of control in terms of their economy, and they're going to put Order straight in the bin in terms of the cash.
Especially with the double AWP setup as well, but Alistair might be trying to probe out of the SL position soon. Great nade coming forward as well, just to put any dents in the plans there, but Hazard goes down nice and early on. Great pick from Valiance. And they're just going to transition straight out, head straight back to the B-bomb site.
Yeah, they've left Ustillo as that lurker over towards Ivy. He's liable to throw that smoke towards left side just to keep AVANT questioning what's happening here. Try to deny them some potential rotations. Because if you do have that player over Ivy, you're spreading yourself pretty thin in terms of the rotations back towards the inner bomb side. But it's a 4-man walk towards this inner site. Going to have some difficulties up against the AWP is the issue.
But look at this push coming out from APOC. This is exactly what needs to happen at the moment. Clears out T-Connector completely. Does get spotted eventually, but maybe that's a go signal. You can see AVANT so many rotations being called. The collateral coming out. The trade comes forward, but 3-on-3 bombs out in the open. And there's still so many CTs around this area right now.
Yeah, smoke goes down deep in towards Oil Train. A lot of AWPers just posting on angles, waiting for someone to get over-aggressive, to push a little bit too far. Bomb's still not retrieved by Order just yet, but Gyro might have just threaded the needle up close towards this red train.
Oh my goodness, what a shot coming out from Alistair. And now it's all down to Humongous. He's been spotted out and surely should be wrapped on, but Gyro just can't find the timing. And the bomb's still exposed. Alistair's grabbed it. And now he's in the prime position to set up this victory for the 2-on-1. They managed to do it from Order. Don't know how, but Humongous bring it down now to a 1-on-1. Estillo, no utility to play with. At the very least, Humongous does have the kit to work with, but no smoke. So hard to clear out this territory right now without making noise. He's got time to work with at the very least. He's going to eventually have to tap it. He's looking the wrong way around, and Estillo's cleared it. He's more than happy to stay hidden, and I reckon he's won this round. Humongous, he's let too much time tick away, and Estillo's not going to be nervous about it at all. He's played it to perfection. That's absolutely perfect.
Nicely done from Ustillo. That was a very dicey round from Order, but they don't panic too much. They don't try to get that bomb too quickly.
And it's just, once again, just great trading coming out from Alistair. I mean, they lose 2 down there, but they don't scramble to get the bomb. They just go, look, let's get the players in the right position. Let's go from there. Finally, Alistair does go down, but he's already done that work with a forced AWP. Justified it as well.
Yeah, the difficulty is that Avant still had so much loss bonus built up and a fair amount of cash in the bank that they still put a decent buy together. A little light on the utility, but same thing goes for Order. This is a pretty critical round here. This is the difference between Order pushing themselves very quickly up towards 8 and 9 rounds, and Avant starting to close this round gap. Looks like a pretty slow round to start things off, but Order already starting to make their way towards Inner. I think this is the first time we've actually seen Avant go for a bit of an SL setup, though.
Yeah, first time they've been able to get someone in there nice and early on, but the question is, where is AVANT going to be pushing forward from, and can Asilo catch him out? You can see just the adaptations from both sides. This time the contact play works out to perfection. They just bust out, and Humongous cops one in the side of the head. Blitz able just to hold on to this deep position. That's going to make it easy for the CTs to rotate in from Connector, but Hazard fast on the flank, great on the trigger discipline, sprays down two, makes it difficult. 1v2 now, as Asilo is able to clutch out one just then, but two might be very difficult, but he slides once again, finds the needle, gets the timing working out. Sterling doesn't have a kit.
Try and tap it. Is just the shoulder out from... No, he wide peaks.
Just wide swings it.
He wide swung it last time and got the headshot. He's trusts that aim. And he's another 1v1 has been won by Usilo for Order. Massive amounts of impact. That puts Avant's economy in the bin, at least for the singular save. But when you're looking at the context of the half, 8 for Order, looking to be up to 9. Actually, they're forcing with SMGs. I guess they feel like they need to make something happen at this point, which is interesting.
I mean, only about 3 or 4 rounds left. I think they also understand that Order's economy is probably pretty close to be broken, so able to swindle one away here. Look at this crunch coming out, Mitch.
What is this madness? They're just Wing straight through inner halls. You're going to have to smoke on SL, though. That's going to make it pretty hard for Avant to actually get out here. They do have a couple of players just trying to swindle around this outer's bomb site, but with Sterling cleared out, this should be Order setting up for a pretty good post plant.
Oh, Humongous has managed to fill out, and as the smoke fades, though, Jarrett looks back in the right way. APOC has been spotted out, still managed to get a swing trade. It's all down to Blitz. MP9, unfortunately, just drops the damage at that distance, so Order still managed to clean up another round in Avant. Same situation. Money's not great. Round difference is starting to buff up a little bit. Kevin's starting to look a little bit stupid with his prediction. It's just another day in the office.
That's all right, Kev.
CT side on this map.
I thought you'd be used to getting predictions wrong by this point.
I actually genuinely believe that Avant would actually convincingly win the series 2-0.
Hey man, 9-3 T side, Avant does that too. Relax, it's fine.
True.
They're gonna be fine.
Faithful
Maybe.
shall be rewarded.
Maybe. 5 deagles for Avant. Looking to do some damage, which would actually end up making an impact on this half still. Couple more rounds to play with. There's still room for Order's economy to have some issues in these last 2 rounds following this anti-eco. But Order doesn't look like they're running into any issues. They've been allowed to just creep out Ivy, and it's pretty hard for Pistolers to react to that on these angles.
Yeah, but Sterling's still able to find a nice couple of shots. Actually got the dink through the edge of the wall. And that eventually is the resistance just swept away.
Last 2 players just group hugging in the showers. Trying to rally some morale, because this half has been pretty rough for Avant. If they can find any picks on the tail end of this round. I think Valiance has got his work cut out for him. He needs to be peaking the right angles at the right times. And Blitz is doing some fantastic work with that dig. Just 2 kills with that is a pretty big impact on this economy here. He's actually got armor as well.
He's retrieved an AK as well. He's going forward for it. Madman.
Couldn't quite get that one done. But still some pretty good damage. I think Order, they're going to have to reinvest here. If they were to lose this round, maybe 1 or 2 players would be a bit scuffed in terms of the money. But following that, I think they're pretty set. And the fact they've already got 10 rounds, I think they're totally fine. As for Avant, they lose this one with the double AWPs, they're probably going to be around that 3 to 3.5k sort of mark heading into that last round. So both teams going to be in a weird economic situation if they do end up dropping this one. AVANT's looking to try to get that pass mark of 5, and that's a good start for it.
Double AWP always feels like it's been kind of that success for AVANT, and once again, just the opening picks both falling in their way without even losing a single point of damage, or a single point of health, should I say, in this context.
To try to pick up the pieces in this 3-on-5. Ali's just trying to creep out Ivy, catching into CTs, being a little over-aggressive.
Didn't work out, as Sterling was the one that posted perfectly on that angle. I feel like this is a repetition of that round where AVANT pretty much won without losing anyone. I feel like we're heading that same way again.
Yeah, double AWP seemed to go pretty well for them, but if you're not winning a whole lot of rounds on that CT side, you often don't have a whole lot of money for the double AWP setup. Difficult to find that success.
Oh, there's still Hazard as well in SL, who's ready to bang them out at the server. So, just like that, that's the first headshot. So, Ricky trying to get a couple of trades, but all the CTs know where the bomb is now, and the AWP's going to clean up. So, a triple for Sterling, starting to peak a little bit here. It's been quite quiet so far.
And now the awkward money situation for Order ensues. Only 2 of them able to actually get AK armor. Rest of the lads have to go down to pistols and armor and some utility.
I don't know, that might be a detriment to the AWP sometimes. If you can get quite close on the back of this utility and bust out through smoke, that sometimes is actually better to go with as opposed to the rifles. But it's actually a bunch of Deagles as opposed to the Tech 9s, so I don't expect anything too fast in this round, and I think this would actually play in AVANT's favour.
Yeah, interesting. Alistair opts to go for Deagle armor and drop an AK to a friend. Preferring that Deagle in this scenario, and it's an Indus push from AVANT. So already pretty good info for them as they've thrown that deep smoke up towards the stairs. Order starting to group up towards that Indus area. Going to be a contact play from there, but Sterling on the line, going to get the freest kill of his life. Doesn't go for that third repeak. Going to play things quite controlled. What can Order do in this 4-on-5? Handful of AKs, handful of Deagles. It's got to be some pretty sharp shooting from the lads.
All this smoke, trying to get. Oh,
that's not going to do it.
This is why I love watching Gyro play. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you get the sticker smoke and a couple of cool kills, and in other cases, you're just running out straight into the AWP of Sterling. Humongous also on the bomb side as well. Whew, that's what I mean. You never know what you're going to get. Misses the smoke, redeems himself, gets a critical kill, allows the plant to go down for this round 4.
Yeah, APOC's pretty deep up the right side here, though, so that's going to be probably the nail in the coffin, I would say. He's really pretty much unchecked for Order. There's a nice 2k from the man, and that's going to be AVANT doing what they can. A 5th round on the board is not too bad of a recovery.
Well, they've always been strong on the T side. Going to go for a short break here. Let's see how the second half goes between the 2 rifles here. Second half here between AVANT and Order. AVANT now on the attacking side, only 5 to their name, as Order pretty much looked the goods that entire half, Mitch. They definitely were the goods. And I would say that it was only really the double AWP that really stood up towards the end to get AVANT a few more rounds than they probably deserved.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think Order looked very controlled. They looked like they knew exactly what they wanted to do on that T side, so that was a very good look for them. Now we'll get to see if AVANT is going to look just as good. As initial smoke goes out into Sandwich for AVANT. Hugh getting ready with the rest of his utility as AVANT group up into T Connector. 3-man setup for Order on this outer site. You got one towards that stop sign. Valiant's towards CT Connector. Will be smoked off, but he's going to try and block the smoke and push in front of it as AVANT start to make their way onto the site.
Molotov also pushing away Alistair into a bit of an unprimed position there. As now Apoc and Hazard going to be opening up accords, but Astillo's still dancing around, but he's just missing a couple of these USP shots, and now it's made a bit dicey as the rest of AVANT are able to pounce. 2 on 3 though, so Ricky's able to flit away for now. Player in SL. They're so scared of this flank as Humongous. How do they get the trade out? 1v2, they know where Ricky is, but the bomb still hasn't gone down just yet. Action all across the place for now.
Ricky's got a kit. Can definitely take his time here. But he's choosing to take a few duels and copying a few more Glock shots than he can potentially handle as he does go down. And AVANT, they start this T-side campaign fairly nicely with that pistol win.
Let's see if Order decide to force up. There's body armor and gyro and the scout coming out. So that definitely indicates there's some shenanigans about from Order. Whereas for AVANT, so far the firepower doesn't look too good so far. 3 Galils, a single AK. 4 Galils. Order's won this round. Calling it now.
You hate the Galil, don't you?
I loathe it. It is not a weapon.
Alright. Well, we'll see what they can do without weapons. At the moment, just spread out around the map. Seeing what they can scout out. Flashbang outside of SL as Usilo getting spammed away. And that looks like a weapon to me, Kev. It looks pretty good in Humongous's hands.
Confirmation bias for you. I reckon that's it. There's a might clean up pretty easily here.
Oh, it didn't even look like force. Just
that was just swept aside. I mean, Order, I think, just tried taking too many engagements at long angles without the backing of the scouts, and it just didn't work out.
Seems like it. All on Ricky to try and get some exits here for himself.
Oh, he's picked up the scout. Don't know if Hazard saw that, actually. I don't know if the gun barrels kind of extended out a little bit further. 7 to 10. 3 of the difference. Gun round 1 more away for Order at this stage.
Yeah, Alistair hanging on to a bit of an extra cash in that back pocket just to be able to get himself that AWP in that 4th round. But with that scout being saved over, I'm pretty sure Ricky can probably drop that over or drop the Deagle over. Gonna drop the scout over. Try and do a bit of extra damage. Why not? Art's gonna be pretty happy with that one though.
Oh, 2 Zeuses.
Nice.
The shock and awe strategy, I like it. If it works, not bad. If it doesn't, well. It's an eco round, so might as well try some sneaky shenanigans. I'm seeing that right now from Astillo. That's definitely a cheeky little position. Alistair spotted a few, has to bail out. And probably you don't want the Zeus's right now.
Oh, he smartly repositioned himself behind the coil though. Never mind.
He's dead.
Man, these anti-ecos from AVANT is just...
They just come out and they just get the kills. There's just no position for Order to actually even trade at all, so...
Just going in there and going in there hard.
There you go. 2 rounds in a row, and I think they've dropped a single weapon.
No, they haven't. Look at all that cash in the bank.
Not bad for Galils.
I feel bad for all those teams that go into the 3rd, 4th round and they're like kind of broke. Just look at AVANT right now. It's like 6+ K in the bank. It's almost a bonus round, just 4 Galils.
Every single time it's like, if everyone goes, no, like you can't just go into the 3rd or 4th round with money. That's not allowed in this current iteration of Counter-Strike. The CTs need to buy up and do damage and train. There's just this picture of Seb from OG, you know, the one where he's just like, oh, where's the noise coming from? There's nothing because they just defeat the Chinese team at TI8. That's what I'm picturing AVANT at the moment.
Mm.
I don't understand this economy problems. We've got perfect money.
Sterling's got a bit of extra damage, and he's invested a bit of extra money, to be honest, upgrading into that AWP rather than just going for the full bonus. Creep into T-Connector from Ustillo. Alistair has that pretty advanced position. Seems like AVANT are setting up for an Ivy and an SL split, but it's going to be quite hard to complete that kind of a play when you do have CTs in the T-Connector. Could also be a wrap to dark side and then go towards inner. Seems like it's sort of leaning more in that direction, actually, and that could be quite a good play up against what Order's doing, because Order's going to be quite far away from being able to defend that dark side and even rotate to inner. And once they do start to rotate, if they're cut off at CT Connector, they're going to have quite a tough time rotating in towards that inner site. Yep,
out comes the smoke. Barely a gap for Gyro to work with, so he's trying to come closer. 2 smokes now. What's going on over here? As Gyro is able to find a little bit of a glimpse, a gap in it. Alistair also picks one off as well. And I think this plan is just being completely deconstructed right now. No way that these Galils can actually contest against real rifles here in the M4s and the AWP. And so Sterling just back off, saving at this moment. No real opportunities here for AVANT as Order finally managed to pick up one. And that's actually a critical round to be picking up. That's a clean round from Order. Absolutely. No guns dropping.
I had a feeling that might happen. You see that quite often where the anti-ecos are just absolute like destruction, and then the team that's getting bullied just wipes them 5-0. AWP does get saved over, so that's not too bad. But gonna have absolutely no problems reinvesting here, and even still, they have plenty of cash to be moving forward. And once they make it through the rest of that cash, they do have that loss bonus starting to build up a little bit more. So I think the only thing that they're starting to feel a little nervous about is the round count, which is still not quite slipped too far outside of their control.
I think with both sides to be pretty happy with the round count is sitting at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what's going to go on for the next couple of rounds, as there's a bit of a glimpse there of Estillo's head as he's jumping across the sandwich. Alistair's getting aggressive, and this could be a lot of information as Valiant's able to pick up one. The attack now commencing outside of T-Connector. Valiant still dancing around now. The rifle's really doing some work, but Sterling able to stay alive through that. Somehow hits a blind of a shot, and Valiant as he lands.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't be hitting that, but Ustillo's still alive. Will be flashed in by Gyro, but doesn't full commit there. AVANT. It's actually Alistair on the flank.
He's flanked from Ivy with an AWP. He's going to clear out 2 angles. Oh! The guy's a mathematician. He gets taken out, though. Doesn't calculate that possibility. Humongous trying to present a bit of chaos theory in here, but doesn't really work out because Estillo goes, he doesn't care about chaos theories. He cares about clicking on pixels. 12 to 8.
Great angles. Calculated perfectly. Alistair's got his projector out here.
Come on, that was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Righto, another buy coming out here for the AVANT boys. Blitz going to be taking the AWP this time around. But with only one player perishing there for Order, their money is fantastic here. Complete role reversal, and they're pretty far ahead in terms of that round count now. For the difference, potentially extending that to 5 here and breaking the T-side money, at least for the singular round, could be fantastic for Order. Going up 14-8, that would be really, really good. Oh no. This is how it turns around. Initial pick goes the way of AVANT. Valiant goes through the smoke, but it is only a 1-for-1 again.
Yep, great trades coming out from Sterling, and those are some great entries on that A site. And now it's open for, it's free real estate really for AVANT. For Order, I'd say you'd have to Why? Thank goodness that happened.
It's getting to be confident after that collapse.
That's I was very confident, I'm not going to lie. That's not going to work out in that favour. I would have said on that 2 and 4, probably better off saving at this moment, because Order's money is, yeah, they've had a couple of clean rounds, but all it takes is 1 or 2 nice rounds for AVANT to kind of equalise the scenario as well. That's a solid flashbang. Oh,
this is one of the 2, 4 alive. They've wiped the floor with Order. Valiance is pretty poor. The rest of them will be able to buy up, but not much left in the bank once all's said and done here for Order. And Avant, this is a window for them to reset the CT economy, put themselves up to 10 rounds, and then potentially close out that anti-eco. And all of a sudden, this round gap, which Order was threatening, we were talking about 14-8 a second ago. We could be looking at 12-11 with a strong T economy to boot.
Yeah, I have to see how this round goes, as Valence is going to cop a bit of the L in terms of the economy. He's just going with the Desert Eagle. Still a very good player with that, though, so I don't know if it's actually copping a bit of a loss here.
Double AWP setup actually here. Both of them towards the A side of the map, posted on T-Con and towards Ivy. So you do have Jara without utility, following that inner sight progression smoke for Avant. Starting to take their control of Ivy.
Oh, I was about to say, surely that should have been spotted.
He's going to speed up the T push, and Ricky's going to punish. Nice work from both of the veterans.
Yep, just backing away, just making it so difficult to pass through into CT spawn. Ricky is really just working this to a dime at the moment. Sterling goes in for the challenge, but Ricky just goes, you know what, you can have CT spawn right here. Valence has got me covered, and that is just an insanely clean round coming out from Water. No guns lost once again. It just feels like it's like all the rounds that either side are winning, it's just clean, comprehensive victories.
They're just trading it back and forth, each taking turns. Ricky's, I dare say that Ricky's slotted himself into all of the perfect positions there. Not taking any gambles, Kev.
They're just playing it smart and secure, and now Avant taking a bit of a tactical timeout because look at their money.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope that they're on right now. Probably has to be the single save, but you need to inflict some damage.
Nope.
Oh, they're gonna buy.
Yep.
All right. I don't know if this is the right call. And the reason for that is you're going up against a double AWP. I think they need to hit one of these timings where they're going to catch off the AWPs and make the rotations very, very difficult. Because if you're playing a slower round with limited utility up against this double AWP setup, you don't have as many access to as many of the flashes, as many of those smokes. They got 4 flashes across the entire team. You're going to be losing players.
Well, here's the thing, right? APOC's got the AWP in hand. He's got, I guess, the better spawn in comparison to the rest of his team. So this might be an indication of maybe trying to pick off one of these AWPers and connector, or maybe over to the B-bomb site instead. It's actually APOC leading the charge into SL.
He's going to go for that pick onto Jara, it looks like. Jara not caught off. He's gone down SL, interestingly enough.
Yep, and he's just been taken away. That's the AWP instantly lost. They tried getting the advantage. They're going to double drop down onto Astillo. He's going to hear this. I don't know why he swung back in there. But that's the AWP as well as a rifle retrieved, which is great for Avant. They've equalized the situation, and now they can slow it down.
Yeah, Sterling on the glass cannon, getting access to that AWP. All of a sudden, a very difficult-looking situation for Avant. Starts to turn around, smoke on towards the lower ramp. Humongous goes on to upper there. No rotations here for Order. I'm kind of waiting for the moment where Ricky decides to push through Ivy and gather some information, because Jara, he's got his work cut out for him. Ali's going to join him up actually in the CT connector, so this could be the perfect rotation timing.
Flashbang comes out. They're all posted on the right angles, but Jara might have dropped the utility just a little bit late because they're on the site now. And they're very, very close. Jara gets punished. His blitz, he's just rolling forward, and that has to be a save from Order. And that over-aggression coming out in Astillo, double-edged sword. When it works, looks a treat. When it doesn't work, it's a huge gap and allows actually Avant, as you said, around maybe they shouldn't have had any business dealing with.
Well, let's look at it, right? He has smoke, Molotov, flash. If he, instead of re-peeking, he just drops a molly in SL there, they don't have SL control, they don't have access to the AWP or the AK, and they're all trapped up towards inner, and Order's up 5-on-4?
5-on-4 at that stage, yeah.
I think it's a much better outcome for Order. Yeah, the swing, it could have worked out for him. End of the day, it ends up, you know, it's one of those situations where...
Hindsight's 2020, right? That's the whole thing at the end of the day. Because you could see Astillo swings in, gets the double kill there, because there's no one here, we're going to set up for utility. He delayed that on purpose. It's not as if he heard something, he just went, I'm just going to swing straight back in. He thought about it, tried catching him off timing, didn't work out.
Yep. A lot of the time you see that double drop that doesn't see anybody, they'll instantly start to get off each other's heads and move forward or go back up. But they held that extra second longer, which ends up being Astillo's downfall, unfortunately. End of the day though, Order, they've got the round lead. They don't feel too pressured to force here, so they're just going to buy up some pistols around this AWP and AK. I like the approach from them. Try to inflict some damage on Avant. Not stop the train, but at least slow it down a little bit.
Okay.
Cops
Got Ivy control. Inner player goes down though, so it's still going to be an A-side hit. And Ricky, he's got the AWP, probably the best weapon in this situation, but he decides to probably slide out here. Probably for the better.
Oh, bit of a missed opportunity there. And Jara, another missed opportunity it's seeming like, but he does actually capitalize. Takes out Hazard there. That's the bomb drop for AVANT actually, and Valiant's fumbling his nades around, unfortunately goes down. So Order, not like they were without their opportunities there, but just missing the windows. End of the day, it's not as big an investment, especially if they hold on to this AWP. I think it's fine.
Don't know if AVANT are interested in hunting though. Does look like Apox on the push right now.
I think losing that additional gun could kind of be the break point for their money. Definitely needs to be careful. But if they take out Ricky here, that could be pretty big.
Well, Sterling's coming in for sure. Don't know if Ricky's aware of the danger right now, and I don't think he is. Sterling. That's a double AWP, yeah. Very good.
Very good, very nice. Order, plenty of money to buy up here, but they've also inflicted a fair bit of damage on that AVANT economy. So still enough cash to probably put together another buy in the next for AVANT, but the way Order's posturing right now, in theory, let's say they win the next 2 gun rounds, they probably break AVANT's money on match point. Which is a pretty scary situation to be in if you're AVANT.
I mean, but on the flip side as well, if AVANT take the next 2-3 rounds quite convincingly, and we've seen them have the ability to do so as well. It's not as if it's not been one-sided so far. It's really been tit for tat right now. Just maybe AVANT can sneak their way back into it. Only 2 rounds of difference now.
Could still go either way.
Yep.
Order's very light on utility here, and it only has 1 kit. So if these AWPs don't bear fruit, they're going to be having some difficulties in this round, I would say. Especially if the clock starts to run down a little bit, whereas AVANT, utilities are plenty. Need to make sure they don't overextend against these AWPs.
Ooh, 1-for-1 trade there. That's a 2-for-1. Blitz has been playing phenomenally well so far in train, and that's going to draw a huge rotation out. But AVANT, you can't make the same mistake as Order. Look where the bomb is.
Still plenty of time, though. Clock hasn't run down too much, but yes, this could be a problem. AVANT just need to slow things down, but they need to make sure that they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. They know they have to slow it down, but they need to make sure that they're not exposing themselves to one of these mid-round pushes in the 3-on-4. Those kind of situations could be where Order turns around this situation where this should be a sure win for AVANT. This is their round to lose.
That was the whole thing. If they had the bomb, you could see that they were instantly ready to commit on the B bomb site. Blitz did so much good work, and now they're wandering back into the sector where maybe Valiant is able to pick up a multi-kill, but as time is dwindling away, Order have gambled on the A site, and maybe this is going to be rewarded if Valiant gets to push out the right time. He gets so much information. Blitz has to push forward to push the agenda, and it might just fall all apart here for AVANT as they're coming in 1-by-1, and Valiant is just locking this down like an absolute champ. But finally, it's all down to Hazard. Young Hazard with a smile, but he doesn't know where the other rifler is, and Astillo spotted him out, just lurking and holding his angle. But Hazard doesn't know he's behind him. And Order for a round that it had no business in winning because someone left the bomb on the trash bin.
Both of them have unfortunately been victims of that. Difficult situation for AVANT to think about here now, though. A lot of their players are sitting around that 2.5, 3.5k sort of mark for AVANT, whereas they know their opponents are broke. It's an interesting situation to be put to. I think
Can't have to force here, don't you?
I don't think I would have forced. I think I would probably upgrade some pistols, and I would Blitz is playing really, really good, so I would probably hero AK him or something. Hero AK, a couple pistols. You give yourself that potential to win, at least do damage. But it does look like they're forcing. I guess Apoc's buying up.
I think Blitz is going to get that AWP in his hands. And really, he's been doing much better than Sterling, I guess, opening the accords of the AWP so far. So he's going to keep a hold of it for now. So a serviceable buy coming out from AVANT, but pretty much a do-or-die scenario. They don't really have much to work with in this one, and that previous round can't be dropping those, but I guess it is what it is at the end of the day. It happened to Order for one round. You have to concede that. Now it's happened to AVANT as well. But it's just these basics. Maybe that's the rustiness coming back from the player break.
Oh, Ricky, through the edge of the smoke, actually does pick up Blitz, but does get traded out very quickly, so the AWP will have to be recovered. Molotov dropped by Alistair as well, though, so AVANT getting segmented off in their push and cleaned up by Alistair so nicely in such a critical round.
Stands up big, gets the double kill. Everything is slowed down now, as the rest of Order might have to just re-establish themselves a little bit and settle down. They've over-rotated off the A-bomb site. They don't know that both members of AVANT are actually over here in the B-bomb site.
Order playing very safe positions at this point. Trying to play centralized around CT connector.
But I think Alistair heard that drop. He was close enough where I'm fairly certain he heard APOC taking some fall damage.
Maybe. Double push out from SL. Punished instantly by Valiance. Nicely done from the man.
That's a FAMAS, and there's also one in heaven as well. No chance for Sterling whatsoever. That's a clean shutdown.
15's up for Order. Up against the broken economy. I was talking about it before, Kev.
Just not the way that we expected it. 11-13, they were up on a 4-3.
Yep.
I hate to keep banging on about that, but I feel like that is literally the deal breaker. AVANT win that one. They had the bomb at that B-bomb site. Blitz did so well to draw the rotation. All for naught. As well, I mean, Humongous also went pretty big. Oh, it was Valiant, sorry. Actually locking down that Ivy position went huge.
For sure. But should never have had the opportunity to do so. Well, Deagle armor buy. Something that AVANT used to put to use pretty consistently after losing the pistol. But backs against the wall against a full buy here. If they're going to be able to push this one across the line and keep themselves alive here on train. This was Order's pick, and they've done a pretty decent job here, even looking like they could have picked up this map victory at some points, at least in the earlier parts of this half. But it's looking like they're going to fall here unless we can have some massive plays with these Deagles. They really haven't made much happen. Minute and 5 to go, and they haven't really got any tangible map control. Not even any emphasis towards inner. The double swing towards Ivy. An awkward peek. Throws Alistair off a little, but at least he has that information. He's keeping them at arm's length with the Molotov. The re-peek bears fruit for him as well.
He's copped a lot of damage. APOC has slid out though, but he can't land the critical kill on Gyro, who's able to calibrate and just stay alive. 30 seconds left. 2 players coming out from Ivy. At the very least, Alistair and Gyro are both low. Out comes the smoke. Out comes the flashbang as well, as Alistair might be tempted to push through it. Gyro's on the other side of it as well, as they're going to commit forward, and Gyro gets the double spray down. That's it. 16-11. Order's going to pick up that map, or the first map in the series. We'll be back after a short break to break train down.